I see Gumble Games has been listed on Bitget, so I brought up their website and I went over to their vision paper, and then I found that they have a profile on Medium. So I went to Digital Currency Traders and I'm going to add them as an author. And I hope they write for us over on Digital Currency Traders. That'd be awesome. So I started off with all the information I could find about Gomble Games, and I brought that into a Google Notebook LM instance. I found their YouTube channel, but there's woefully little information there, so I searched the rest of YouTube to find more information about Gomble Games. And I found a bunch of different videos from ICE, everything you need to know about Gomble Games Treasure Hunt. I grabbed this video from Bulan Crypto, another one from Chitin Crypto, another one. And I also brought all of those videos into this Google Notebook LM. Then I created a study guide, frequently asked questions, a briefing doc, and a timeline. And I asked the LM to give me a complete overview of the project, including how a user or an investor might make money. And I've put that information together into a PDF down below this video, so you can just grab that PDF and get so that you know everything about this project right now. Then I had Notebook LM create an audio overview, and I've got that coming up as a podcast. So you can just sit back, listen all the way through, and learn everything you need to know about Gomble and how it works, how a user or investor might make money from this project. Let's sit back and check it out.
Tired of just racking up digital points in games?
Yeah, like what if those skills could actually earn you something real?
Exactly. Today, we're diving deep into Gumble Games. They're the Web3 arm of mobile gaming giant 111%.
And we're going to explore how you listening, could potentially make some money from their projects.
Especially with their GM token recently listing on Bitget. That's a big part of this.
Right. We'll try to cut through the noise a bit, show you the concrete ways users and maybe investors are looking at Gomble for potential gains.
Get ready for some aha moments, hopefully, as we unpack this whole intersection of gaming and crypto.
So just for context, Gumble Games isn't coming out of nowhere. Their parent company, 111%. They've launched, over 200 games since 2015?
And something like that, yeah. And onboarded over 100 million users. That's a huge existing audience.
It really is.
Yeah.
And now they're making this move into Web3 with the GM token listed on Bitget.
So we've gathered info from various places, YouTube videos, their own docs, to give you a clear overview.
Yeah, our mission today is pretty straightforward. Equip you with a solid understanding of how you might benefit from the Gumble Games ecosystem. What are the potential avenues here?
Okay, so roadmap time. What are we covering? First, we'll look back a bit at some of the ways users were already engaging and potentially earning before the token launch.
Right, the lead-up activities.
Then we'll pivot to the big news, the GGM token listing on Bitget. And we'll explore the potential strategies people are talking about. Short-term, medium-term, and maybe even long-term.
Sounds good. It's all about figuring out how someone might actually make money from this project, right?
That's the core question we're tackling.
Okay, so now that you're starting to get a sense of the Gomble Games world, its background, and maybe some of its potential, if you're actually thinking about, dipping your toes into the trading side of things, especially with the GM token on Bitget, well, we have something for you.
We do indeed. For our listeners interested in trading GM on Bitget, we've actually managed to secure a 20% lifetime discount on trading fees.
Which can definitely add up over time, especially if you're active.
Absolutely. You just need to use a referral link. Bitget deal. Simple as that. So if you're planning to trade GM, definitely use that link on Bitget to save on those fees.
Okay, worth checking out. So let's maybe start with those activities before the GM token actually hit the exchanges. Like, what was happening?
Yeah, good place to start. One thing was their treasure hunt. What was that about?
Well, basically, participants could spin a wheel daily to earn gold.
Okay.
And that gold let you flip tiles on a board. Behind those tiles, more gold, treasures, but critically, lucky draw tickets.
Lucky draw tickets. And those were important because
those tickets gave you a shot at winning G capsules, iron, bronze, silver, gold tiers.
Right. And the key part, the potential earning part, was that these capsules were set to convert into actual GM tokens at the TGE, the token generation event.
Exactly. So the more active you were, the more tickets you got, the more capsules you might win.
The more potential GDM you could stack up before it was even tradable. Kind of an early bird reward?
Precisely. And it wasn't just random luck either. They also had a leaderboard for the treasure hunt.
Oh, yeah. What did that lead to?
Well, the top-ranked players on that leaderboard, which ended back in August, got the chance to mint a special NFT collection The Space Kids Genesis collection.
Okay, Space Kids Genesis NFTs. Were these just collectibles, or did they have more function?
Definitely more function. There were only 5,555 of them, and holding one was meant to come with perks.
Like what kind of perks?
Things like getting a say in the Space Kids DAO, that's the Decentralized Autonomous Organization.
Like a community council, basically.
Sort of, yeah, where holders could influence things.
Right.
Also, potential involvement in marketing, possible future GM airdrops.
Airdrops are always nice.
And exclusive gaming privileges, maybe early access to new stuff. So being active early, getting high on that leaderboard could lead to this potentially valuable NFT.
So it seems like a pattern. Reward early and active community members.
Definitely. Another example was the Gumble squads and their launch pools. Users could team up, play games together, complete missions.
And earn something called squad coins.
Yeah, squad coins. And the idea was you could then stake these coins, lock them up.
To earn rewards, presumably. Potentially GM.
That was the potential, yes. Different launch pools might have had slightly different rewards, but GM tokens were certainly floated as a possibility. Launch pool 3, for instance, ran until the end of March this year.
Okay, so team play rewarded too. What about just getting tokens directly, like airdrops?
Yep. There were mentions of direct airdrops too. The process usually involved connecting your wallet, registering on a few pages before certain deadlines.
Like April 4th, one source mentioned.
Right. And Season 2 seemed more involved daily check-ins, quizzes, connecting Twitter, Discord engagement.
Trying to get people really integrated into the community.
Exactly. You could earn different roles or tiers: iron, bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, and your tier might influence how much of the airdrop you received.
Interesting. Was it all just clicking buttons in social media, or did actual gaming play a part?
Gaming, too. You could apparently earn rewards by playing their existing mobile games, like Roomy Stars, getting high ranks, submitting screenshots as proof.
So bridging their existing mobile gamers over to the Web3 side? Smart.
Seems like it. Now, look, some of these specific campaigns, like that treasure hunt leaderboard or the Launch Pool 3, they've ended.
Right.
But understanding how they operated, how they incentivized people, that's still really useful context, I think.
How so?
Well, it shows their playbook, right? Rewarding early adopters, rewarding active participation, rewarding community building. It's quite possible they'll use similar methods again in the future.
So keep an eye out for similar initiatives down the line.
Yeah. Past behavior can give you clues about future opportunities in their ecosystem.
Okay, good point. So that's the past. Let's talk about now and the near future. The GM token listed on Bitget on April 16th, 2025. What are the immediate short-term ways people might look to make money?
Well, the most direct way, obviously, is trading. Actively trading the GM-USDT pair right there on Bitget.
Right. New listings, especially in GameFi, can be pretty volatile, can't they?
Oh, definitely. Prices can swing quite a bit, especially in the early days. And that volatility for traders who know what they're doing can present short-term profit opportunities. Buying low, selling high. You know the drill.
Yeah, though easier said than done sometimes. We saw some pretty bullish takes too, people predicting quick price jumps right after the Bitget listing.
That happens. The initial hype around a new token, especially one with a big company backing it, can sometimes cause those early surges. Some traders try to get in early on Bitget and ride that initial wave.
But, and this is crucial, it's super risky.
Right, absolutely. High potential reward often comes with high potential risk. Volatility cuts both ways. Thorough research, understanding the risks. That's non-negotiable before jumping into short-term trading.
Okay, so trading on Bitget is the main short-term play. What about looking a bit further out, medium term, once the initial dust settles, maybe?
Yeah, moving into the medium term, let's say the weeks and months following the listing as Gomble starts rolling out more features. One approach is simply holding the GM tokens you might have acquired.
Just holding, the HODL strategy.
Sort of, yeah. The thinking is, if Gumble Games successfully integrates Web3 into their games, if they attract a large chunk of those 100 million users to actually use the GM token,
then demand goes up.
Right.
And potentially the price, too.
That's the potential logic. Increased utility and a growing user base could drive the token's value up over the medium term.
Okay, that makes sense. Are there other medium-term possibilities besides just holding?
Well, something common in the crypto gaming space is staking.
Right, locking up your tokens for rewards.
Exactly. Now, the sources we looked at didn't give specifics on a GM staking program yet, but it's a very common mechanism.
So something to watch out for.
Definitely. Keep an eye on official announcements from Gomble. Maybe even check Bitget itself, see if they launch any GM staking options. It could be a way to earn passive income on tokens you're holding anyway.
Good tip. What about those Space Kids NFTs we talked about earlier? Any medium-term potential there?
Yeah, potentially a couple of angles. First, remember the DAO participation?
Mm-hmm. Having a say in the project?
Right. If NFT holders actively participate and guide the project towards decisions that increase adoption and token utility, that could indirectly boost the value of DAM and, by extension, potentially the NFTs themselves.
Interesting, like collective value creation.
Kind of. And then there's the direct utility of the NFTs, those exclusive game perks, early access things.
Right.
If those benefits become really desirable within the Gumble community, if people really want that exclusive access,
then the NFTs themselves could become more valuable on secondary markets, assuming they are tradable.
Exactly. If a market develops for them, their value could increase based on the demand for those perks.
Okay, so medium term seems tied to ecosystem growth, staking possibilities, and the utility or governance power of the NFTs. What about the really long game, thinking years down the line?
For the long term, it really comes down to the overall success and scale of the entire Gumble Games Web3 ecosystem.
Basically, can they pull it off? Can they convert that huge mobile audience?
That's the multi-million-dollar question, isn't it? If they can successfully leverage that massive existing user base, bring a significant number of them into their Web3 games, and get them using GGM.
The GM could become a really central asset in a huge gaming economy.
Precisely. Widespread adoption within a thriving ecosystem would likely create sustained long-term demand and value for the token. That's the blue sky scenario.
You mentioned something earlier, space dust, being used in future games.
Ah, yes, that detail was interesting. It suggests that GM, and maybe the NFTs too, aren't just for one game. The plan seems to be integrating them, or resources derived from them, into future titles as well.
So building ongoing utility across their whole gaming universe.
That seems to be the implication. More utility generally means more reasons for people to acquire and hold the token, which supports long-term value.
And lastly, there was that connection to Binance Labs, their early backer. What about the possibility of GM getting listed on other major exchanges?
That's definitely a significant long-term potential catalyst. Listing on a top-tier exchange like Binance usually brings a massive increase in visibility, liquidity.
Making it easier for way more people to buy and trade.
Exactly. Historically, such listings often lead to significant price appreciation over the long run. It's not guaranteed, of course.
But the Binance Labs backing makes it more plausible than for a random project.
You could argue that, yeah. It certainly doesn't hurt the chances. It's a potential milestone that long-term holders would likely be watching for.
Okay. But we should probably add some caveats here, right? It's not all guaranteed game.
Oh, absolutely not. It's crucial to remember crypto markets are inherently volatile. The price of GM on Bitget can go down just as easily as it can go up.
And any new project has risks. We even saw one source urging caution, emphasizing doing your own homework.
100%. Project risks are real. Execution risk, competition, changing regulations. Things can go wrong.
So the golden rule applies.
Yeah.
Do your own research.
Yeah.
DYOR.
Always. None of this is financial advice. You absolutely have to do your own thorough research, assess your own risk tolerance before making any decisions.
Couldn't agree more. Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. We've covered quite a bit.
Yeah, so to recap the potential ways people might look to profit from Gomble, it ranges from things like those early ecosystem activities, the treasure hunt, squads, airdrops.
Which gave context for how they reward users.
Right, to the more immediate stuff like actively trading DAM on Bitget post-listing.
Then medium-term holding, potential staking, maybe leveraging Space Kids NFTs if you have them, through the DAO or utility.
And long-term, it really hinges on the big picture. The growth and adoption of the whole Gomble Web3 platform, the real usefulness of the GM token and NFTs in their games.
And maybe those big future exchange listings.
Exactly. Lots of potential avenues, but also risks to consider at each stage.
So final thought then. You've got this company with a massive existing mobile gaming audience making a serious play in Web3. Could this be, a significant moment for bringing blockchain gaming more mainstream?
It's definitely an interesting question. They have the reach that many smaller Web3 native projects lack. If they can successfully bridge that gap, it could be quite impactful.
And what role might someone listening right now play in that, as a user, a trader, an NFT holder?
Well, that's the question for everyone to consider for themselves, isn't it? It's certainly a project and a space to keep a close eye on as the Gomble Games story unfolds.
Thanks for watching all the way through. If you'd like to have your crypto project featured as a high-impact YouTube podcast like this one, I'm now offering a flat fee for a video spot much like the one we just did here, where we do a full-featured podcast-style video that really digs into the mission, your tech, the real reasons that somebody might want to get involved with your project. So we'll take your official website, all your white papers and wikis, all of your information about your project, your YouTube videos, any AMAs that you've done, any community commentary that you want to highlight, any Reddit threads, any press releases, any influencer takes on your project, anything that you think that should be fed into our AI research system. Then we'll create a high converting podcast style video, and we can make custom characters inside your video so that we're not reusing the ones that I have in mind. But we'll talk about what your project solves, what makes it unique, how it fits into crypto spheres in general. So you can expect to have a podcast-style conversational video that's a minimum of 6 minutes in length. It'll be a narration built from deep research on your product, not just some generic talking points. And the video will be posted on my Bitcoin trading channel with 7,000 subscribers. It'll be posted on my publication over on Medium and over onto my Discord community as well. If you'd like to have a sponsored video created, head over to Digital Currency Traders, click on the sponsor section, and the top post along the top will explain this podcast style video, and it'll give you a place where you can contact me over on LinkedIn. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, everyone. Here's to your success.